Have you heard so much talk about boundaries? High achieving women or any women in general, you need to learn to set better boundaries. It's everywhere. But I have a different take on boundaries that might shock you or that might reveal something in you that you're like, thank you. I've been feeling that. And I'm so glad that you're finally speaking to this. I found something, and I'm going to read from my phone, that really highlighted the problem in my mind of this protect your peace, strong boundaries culture that seems to be spreading quite rapidly nowadays, or maybe it's just in my algorithm. Let me tell you what it says. High value women checklist. 1, drained, choose distance. Used, set boundaries. Ignored, stop chasing. Not, okay, and it just continues for like 7 of them. I just want to talk to the first 2 because there's no point addressing all of them because it's all the same point, the same idea. I'm going to focus on used, set boundaries, because we're talking about boundaries. First of all, let's talk about used. If someone's been actually used in a way that they were rendered powerless or overpowered in an abuse scenario that I don't necessarily want to go into, don't set boundaries, call the police, right? That's what we're talking about here. And get the support that you need. So this is not what I'm talking about, just right off the bat. Someone that says used set boundaries, they're talking about the psycho-emotional relational situation that's happening in their lives. But let's look at the word used. Already used has such a heavy weight to the word. And guess what it presupposes? That you are, right? If someone is using you, you are at the effect of that person and you're quote unquote in the victim stance. So having this mindset of if someone uses you, just set boundaries, reinforces the fact that you need protection from these mean people that abuse or uses you. So you are, what does that mean about you? That you need to be protected so much? If anything, using boundaries in this context reinforces the victim mentality stance and prevents you from actually looking within at the true issue happening. That's the true problem. And I think that is the problem with this boundary situation and protect your peace culture. It puts a band-aid on a wound instead of addressing the wound. What is it that made you allow this person to use you? That's number 1. I had a friend who was a co-coach in a space I was a part of. And one of her clients became her friend. And they started to do more things together and all the things that she did that was kind of part of her brand. She brought the friend along. She started to showcase the friend a lot on her own social media. She had a lot of exposure. So that friend was able to kind of piggyback on that. And I don't know the details, but something happened that friend was actually just using her, taking advantage of that, and then somehow betrayed her, went on her own. And if you look at her social media, it looks kind of like a carbon copy of my initial friend that brought her in. So that could be a situation where it's like, you need stronger boundaries. But let's look. And I can't speak for that woman, but is it possible you're starving for love? Is it possible you wanted a friend so much that you didn't look at maybe some warning signs? Because this person I know travels a lot and does a lot of things. Maybe not. I don't know her that personally, but it's something to look at. We've all seen women who fall in love with a man and everybody around sees the warning signs, right? But they are blind to it. They are head over heels. And then something happens and they're like, wow, I did not see that coming. And everybody's around is like, I did. And I'm like, yeah, me too. Right? So what is actually happening under the hood? I don't allow people to use me, quote unquote, or take advantage of me. Because energetically in how I am and how I'm being, how I'm behaving in the world, that's not something I allow. And if it did happen, I have a choice, right? Not only we're looking at number 1, what is it happening under the hood? As opposed to avoiding it and putting a boundary, pushing people away. I got hurt once, so I'm going to close my heart forever. Does that sound like a great idea? I don't think so. Doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. That's going to the other extreme. That's not what we're talking about. But let's look. Because number 2 is whatever reaction you're having to being abused, taken advantage of, betrayed, all of this is also a clue to what's happening. Are you feeling rejected, disrespected, not valued, unlovable? What is happening? Because each and every single different person will interpret this in a different way. Some people won't be bothered whatsoever. Some people will be disrespected. And if you look in their life, they are feeling disrespected a lot. Some people will feel rejected. And if you look in their lives, they feel rejected a lot. That's me. I have the rejection wound. Who's with me? Who has that one too? Team rejection. So there's these wounds that has nothing to do with this situation, but it's calling you to look and heal the wound instead. Because if you break your leg, you need crutches to heal. But when the leg is healed, if you don't do physical therapy and you don't let go of the crutches because it's kind of scary to start walking on your own, you're going to spend your whole life using crutches when it was not necessarily necessary. And it's the same thing with boundaries. They are a useful tool. There's nothing wrong with boundaries. But are you using them to prevent yourself from actually doing the physical therapy, doing the inner work, addressing what's going on? So you don't just rely on that forever and close your heart. In the story Les Misérables, or Les Mis, however you want to say it, Les Misérables, if I want to say in English. It's a French word, right? It's a story of Jean Valjean. And in the beginning, he went to prison and he's an ex-con, he's gone out and people are not letting him in. So of course he goes to the local priest and he lets him in, gives him food, gives him shelter. And in the middle of the night, Jean Valjean starts to steal all the silver because he wants to escape and steal from the priest. And I'm not 100% sure on that one, but I think even the priest sees it and maybe he hurts him to get away. Regardless, he steals the silver and he leaves. And at some point, a police officer stops him because he's like, who's this weird looking man with a bag? And he sees the silver and he's like, where did you take that? And he's like, that's mine. And of course, he doesn't believe him. And then Jean Valjean starts to see this priest running towards them. And he's thinking, that's it, I'm done. He's going to be like, arrest him. And he would have every right. He was used, wasn't he? Taken advantage of. I give him food and shelter in my home. And he steals from me and leaves in the middle of the night. That's not okay. If anything, you should put boundaries and not let ex-cons stay at the church anymore. That's it. We're putting a rule. Over. But as he's getting closer, we realize he has a bag. And he's like, oh, officer, hi. Sorry, Jean. You forgot this bag. And in the bag is more silverware or whatever, the valuables he had. And that event transformed Jean Valjean forever. The priest might never know. I don't even know in the story. I have to review it. It's 3 volumes. He might never know if Jean Valjean took anything from it, transformed, did something good out of it. It didn't matter. It was an act of kindness. Just like in our world, every act of kindness freaking matters. And even if we don't see it right away, I believe, and I think it's a powerful place to come from, that every act of kindness makes a difference in the world and in the person who receives it. So is it true that as a high-value woman is used? Put a boundary. What kind of world does that create? That creates a world of division. A world where we each need to protect ourselves from each other. People will be people. People have baggage, have wounds. They will act not in the best way. And if you're honest with yourself, truly honest, have you ever taken advantage of somebody? Maybe not in a mean way, but you saw an opportunity. Maybe that person could connect you with someone else and you were friendlier than you would have with that person because maybe you thought you could gain something out of it. Or you brought flowers to someone, your mother, because you felt like you maybe didn't show up before and you're trying to. We all do that. It's a human thing. And I know it can be hurtful when someone uses us. But even when you say, I was used, it's almost like you're adopting the identity of the victim. Do you think the priest would say Jean Valjean used me? He probably would have said something like, wow, he probably really needed the silver. He's probably gone something really difficult that he would go to that extreme after all the kindness I've given him. So here's more kindness. That's a world that's worth living in my opinion. More kindness, more connection, not division. More inclusiveness, more understanding, not more boundaries. That's the type of world that's worth not only living in, but building as a legacy for our children. And I know this might seem utopic, but why the heck not? So I would love to know what that brings up in you. And I would invite you to look into maybe certain boundaries, certain times where you decided to close your heart and close the door or push people away because you thought that that's what you should do. You needed to protect your peace. You needed to be strong in who you are and not let people walk all over you. Because there is a balance, there is a discernment. And if you've just been walked all over your whole life, again, that could be a bit of a victim mentality phrasing. If you've been overgiving your whole life, people pleasing, you've never set any boundaries ever. Setting boundaries, getting good at that like crutches. You might need that to start. But I implore you, don't stay there. Do not stay there. There's another level. We don't want a world of people who are closed off with boundaries and high expectations, and if you don't fit the bill, I can cut you off. I don't think that's what you want. But let me know in the comments below what's coming up for you and what might be a boundary that you set that you might want to revisit. Much love.